I found out that even though you get new leads, when you launch again the same offer to the same list, you will always get a lower and lower return.
Welcome to Yaro's podcast, where you'll discover the stories behind world-class performers, business builders, and enlightened leaders.
Can you believe it? This podcast started in the year 2005. It was one of the very first interview podcasts ever published, and I've loved doing it ever since the very start. However, the most important thing to me is the fact that you're here listening to my show. It means a lot to me. I put a lot of work into this, and it's all for you. Now, whether you're a long-term listener or perhaps this is the first episode you've ever downloaded, make sure you subscribe if you have not done so already. It's easy to do. Just open up an app on your phone or perhaps your computer, wherever you listen to podcasts. Could be Apple or Google, Spotify, YouTube, and just click that subscribe button and you'll get all my latest episodes as I release them. Thanks again for listening. Hi, this is Yaro, and thanks for downloading this episode of my podcast. Today, you're going to hear from Aurelien Amacker, who is a French internet marketer and founder of System.io, or Systemio, as I say throughout this interview, a platform that does basically everything you can think of in internet marketing: landing page builder, email autoresponder, course delivery, webinars, affiliates. It's one of those tools that's an all-in-one platform for running an internet marketing business, which you probably know a lot about because there's a lot of tools online that do basically the same thing. Some of the tools do a slice, like there's a lot of different email autoresponders out there. There's a lot of landing page builders out there. Then there's the tools that attempt to do more of that, like a Clickfunnels, or personally, I use Entreport with my company. And Aurelien decided to enter this market, a very crowded market, and go after some of that customer base and grow a SAAS, a software as a service company called Systemio. And it's an impressive story. So he had a little bit of a strategy in the sense that he was going to start by going after his French market, which, as you'll hear in the interview, is the space that he had operated in prior as a coach and internet marketer. That's basically how I connected with him. I didn't realize this, but he had taken my course previously back in the early days. And then he became basically someone like me, someone who teaches and coaches blogging, internet marketing, but had focused on the French-speaking world. That went really well for him. He had some huge launches. You're going to hear about that in this interview. But I think what's really interesting about this and worth listening to carefully is how Aurelien had this attitude about going into a market that was very crowded and believing that he doesn't need to come up with something revolutionary, something completely new. He, in fact, wanted to sell what he knew already sells well, things like landing page builders and autoresponders and so on, because he saw that market. It's huge, millions of dollars being spent. He was just going to have his own spin on it. First of all, started by focusing on the French market, which was already an underserved market in terms of having a funnel builder that could work well with that language. But also after that, just doing a few things differently, a few unique spins, pricing model, and expanding his business through affiliates. And it's growing incredibly well. At the time we recorded this, he was almost to 200,000 US dollars. He charges in euros for the French market. So a lot of his pricing is euro and euro revenue. But it's a great story. I think you're going to love this, especially if you're interested in doing SaaS, and especially if you're thinking that a market you would potentially go after is too crowded. That, in fact, might be a good thing, because there's no reason why you can't take a slice of that already crowded market just by going in there with something with a slightly different spin on it. So Aurelien's going to share his entire story from internet marketing, coaching, blogging, all the way to building a SaaS. Bear in mind, he does have a French accent, so have some patience with him with a few of the stories he tells. It's, obviously not his first language, but he does a great job of sharing a lot of detail. I personally was super inspired by this story. So let's just dive straight in. Let's begin the interview. Here is Aurelien Amacker. Welcome to my podcast. Thank you everyone for listening in. Today I have hopefully a very exciting story to share with you with a guest who has built a SaaS, a software platform, in, I think, an incredible short amount of time, and a tool that does an incredible amount of things. And according to the data I'm looking at right now, he's just hit 149,000 per month in revenue. So obviously a huge financial success as well. But there's a lot more to this story. So I'd like to introduce Aurelien Amacker to the show. Hello, Aurelien. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Yaro. Thanks for having me on the show.
So you're the founder of Systemio, which is the software I was just talking about. It's a tool that does a whole lot. Like I remember whenever I come across a tool like yours where it's a funnel builder, obviously. It's sort of the entry level thing where you're building your landing pages and you're able to, capture leads and send emails. And then I look at it and I go, well, yeah, it's doing everything. Online courses, webinars, affiliate program, blogging. There's just so many things going on. Obviously, product delivery and taking payments through PayPal and Stripe. So it's a huge platform. I love to talk about how you built this, also how you've grown it in terms of customer base. But before we do that, can we go back in time? Who are you, Aurelien? Like, where'd you get your start in the world of business?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm French. I studied online marketing basically in 2010. Yeah, I just met some bloggers who were making money out of their blogs. So like in Paris, and I decided to go full-time working on my blog. And actually it's funny because at that time I found out about you. So I bought your course. To be frank, we shared the cost. We split with a friend of mine who became like a huge successful marketer in the French space. And it's not even Oliver that you mentioned before the interview, that's Cedric. So we split the cost. And yeah, like I learned about, online marketing and stuff. And I started like building my blog. It was a blog about personal development that I had that like no one was reading. When I met these bloggers, I was like, oh, this is real. I could make a living out of it. So actually, I declined a job offer for a pretty good job, with a good salary in Paris. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go full time on my blog. I'm gonna start traveling. So I went to like Eastern Europe, travel. So I started making money out of my blog with like sponsored links, ads, affiliate products. And after 6 months, I was able to make 1,000 euros in a month. That was August 2010. So it's funny, that was like 10 years ago,
Exactly, yeah.
I was working full-time, like in July 2010, I was working full-time, living in a hostel in Krakow, Poland. So it's really funny, because since then, so many things have happened. So yeah, I was building income with my blog. And then I wanted to go to the next step, which was launching my product, because I heard that this Oliver guy, so his name is Oliver Roland, and he had launched an online course that was like December of 2009. And they had made 100,000 euros. And, that was at that time, that was like huge money. So I got in touch with the guy who helped him launch his course. I hired this guy. I paid him, that was 24,000 euros. And we started working together on creating a course. So we ran a survey on our list, found that people wanted to do the same as me, which is like, make money blogging, basically. So we launched a course about make money blogging. We made 10,000 euros with 2 webinars at the beginning. So that was great. And then I went to Colombia to spend the winter there because, it's warmer, right? Mm-hmm. And but the plan was to do a big launch. So we worked hard for a year. And 1 year later, we did a big launch using Jeff Walker's product launch formula. And we made 550,000 euros of sales in 2 weeks. So wow. Yeah, it was a huge success. I didn't get to keep all the money I had to pay. I mean, there was like a churn, refunds, affiliates, marketing guy, video guy. So at the end, I was left with like 120,000 euros, which was great. Yeah, so I joined Jeff Walker's mastermind group. I stayed there for 3 years. It was great. I got to meet like some amazing people. But after 3 years, I realized that I never liked the product launch model. So I quit his mastermind. I went on my own. So I was just relying on my email list, my YouTube channel, my blogs, and I was selling my courses. I was doing about like 20 to 30,000 euros per month in revenue. So, it was good. But it's a long story, but I
Yeah,
decided
no,
I would.
you've got me curious about so many parts of that story, and we haven't even talked about Systemio yet. But a couple of things. Can we just take even one step further back before you became an internet marketer? Were you entrepreneurial at all then? Like, did you have another business before you got into blogging and that space? Or were you seeing yourself more as I'm going to have a career in some kind of field?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I started out as a systems and network administrator, then found out that I could make more money by moving to the sales. So I quit my job, found another one in sales, didn't work. They let me go after 6 months. And then I went to Australia on a working holiday visa where I spent 2 years, started my first business there actually. So we were like selling oil paintings, like handmade oil paintings.
Okay. Did you paint them?
No. We had painters in Asia making them. So they were like really like handmade oil paintings. They were like really beautiful. And I was importing them and selling them on the markets to stores. So I left Australia after 2 years because I didn't have a visa anymore. I wanted to go back to Europe. The business wasn't working as well anymore. So for different reasons, I came back to France, and this is when I started for another opportunity. I couldn't find one, so I looked for a job, again, even though I didn't want to go back to the corporate world. And this is when I met these guys who were making money online. And when I decided that I would try to, make money online as well.
Okay. So that's what it connects the dot. You were definitely not a career person despite working in systems engineering and then sales. It sounds like you were always wanting that freedom and that control.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I always dreamed of building my business. And I was looking for opportunities. And I think that you have opportunities like, not like everywhere, but if you look for opportunities, you're going to start spotting some,
So, for sure. Okay, so just to go back to the story you first told us around the blogging and product launch space, could you break down, because I have a feeling a lot of the skills you learned there, especially for the sales and marketing side, would have helped you a lot with the Systemio growth. So I'm sure there's a connection. What worked for you first to grow an audience in terms of, was it just publishing blog posts and people showed up? Like, how did it work?
So I had a blog. I started a YouTube channel. I never got really good at YouTube, even though I was getting like some views and some leads from it. But definitely the first years I was relying on my JVs, on my launches, and actually I could feel that I was in a weak spot because I was relying too much on a handful of JVs. Mm-hmm. And, you get along with people, sometimes it can change. I wasn't feeling secure. And it's funny because, so we did 550,000 in sales in 2011. I did 450 in 2012, 250 in 2013, and 150 in 2014. And I was like, oh, this thing is not working, Mm-hmm. And so the conversion was staying pretty much the same. Okay, it was pretty much the same launch, the same offer. So it makes sense, but the conversion was staying the same over the years. But what happened is that I was getting less and less traffic from my JVs for different reasons, And I don't have any hard feelings, but I just think that I was relying on them too much. I was dependent on them too much. And I could feel that this wasn't good and it was working less and less. And so I was like, because I had started like launching smaller courses, smaller products to my list, like very often. And in the end, I was like, okay, I did 150. If I take out, churn, refunds, affiliate fees, and I divide by 7 weeks, which is roughly the time it takes to launch on my list with the pre-launch and, after the launch and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's pretty much what I make already by selling these small courses to my list. I was like, okay, so I'm going to stop relying on my JVs. I'm going to stop launches. I actually stopped talking with these guys, not because I was angry or whatever, because I felt that I wanted to find my own way. So that's what I did. I started selling like smaller, cheaper courses, usually at 197 euros instead of 1,000. I launched a subscription offer. So I still sell it to this day actually. So it's 19 euros per month, and you get access to a new course per week until you have unlocked all my courses, and then you have to keep having access to the membership site. So, I was like experimenting, trying different things. I read a ton of books, like many entrepreneurs, but I remember reading. It's John very low, and it's about like recurring revenue. And it's a great book, about how to build a business with recurring revenue. And for years, I was listening to podcasts about SaaS founders. I was like, oh, this is a great business model. So in 2015, so pretty much, shortly after I went on my own, I decided that I would launch a SaaS. And yeah.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to dive into the SaaS story. One question though. So the JVs make sense to me. You start building relationships, and then you can say, listen, let's do a joint venture. I'm launching a product. But you were selling, like you said before, 20 to 30,000 euros a month in a blogging business just with your own products.
Yeah.
Were you just using the database that you already had built up from all those joint ventures, or was there like a stream of traffic that you always had coming in? Like, I don't know, your YouTube channel had gotten bigger, or how were you managing to keep new customers coming into all these smaller products?
Yeah, it's a great question. So actually it was both. So I had my email list from my previous launches, and I have, some of them were customers, some of them were just like leads, So I had them, and I had my own streams of leads. So I had several blogs. I had up to 3. I had a forum as well that I launched that was like pretty popular in the French space. So I had a YouTube channel as well. And because I went on my own, it forced me to get better at it, So for example, I optimized a lot, and I was getting like how many leads per day? So I think that was around 60 new leads per day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was doing 20 to 30,000 per month in revenue.
Oh, from 16 leads per day, that's pretty good.
So 60 leads per day. Yeah, so almost 2,000 per month.
Okay, well, that's still I guess it's a quality lead you're getting, from that audience. It's a buyer, so that's great. I mean, maybe my own bias is coming through here, but I feel like you had an advantage going after the French market because you probably had an audience that weren't spoiled for choices. They didn't have 1,000 other people teaching the same thing in French like we do in English.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about this. I mean, you have 2 ways to look at it. For sure, in some way, you might have less competition, but the market is smaller. Okay,
True.
I mean, if you're the first one in the French market, you're going to make, I don't know, like maybe 2 million a year. Okay, maybe 3 million up to 5. If you're number one in the English market, you can make like, I don't know, like 10, 15, 20 millions in revenue per year. So, I mean, you have different ways to look at it. It wasn't that easy. There was a lot of competition. There is even more competition today. But I just wanted to go on my own and find what was working for me. Because, for example, when I was in Jest Mastermind, everyone was saying, oh, you have to sell expensive products. And I was like, how do you know? You've never tried selling like smaller, more affordable products. And I started experimenting. I had a system where each week I was writing down the numbers of my promotions on my email list. And I was calculating the revenue per click I was getting. And I found some very interesting things. So I found that the best revenue per click I was getting was in 2 cases. First, when I was doing like big discounts on my courses twice a year for my birthday and Christmas. So it was 50% off on all my courses. So I was doing almost like over 10 euros per click in revenue.
Okay.
And the other case when I was doing a very high revenue per click was when I was selling like very expensive stuff. Like I started selling coaching programs that I was doing myself. So I was taking only up to 2 customers, but I was charging 1,000 euros per month. So yeah, I was getting like very high revenue per click in both cases. And also when I was launching new offers, because I found out that even though you get like new leads, when you launch again the same offer to the same list, you will always get like lower and lower returns.
Yeah, you demonstrated that with your backwards growth over those 4 or 5 years. So let's bring SaaS into this. Obviously, it's an exciting field, and I feel like it has been. So software as a service, for those listening who don't know what SaaS is. Now, I'll let you explain it. So Systemio, as I said at the beginning, is essentially a marketing tool, of which there are certainly many. Now, what year did you start it?
So I decided to launch it in 2015. I hired a company in Morocco. So I was a French customer of mine who was living in Morocco, had a software development company there. And I was like, oh, I can get it done for 7,000 euros. I was like, really? Okay, just take the money, And it was a nightmare. So they started working in December of 2015, and I ended up firing them almost a year later. Actually, it's crazy, like November 2016. And I was desperate. Then I had another developer I was working with on like other smaller tasks, taking over the project for 2 months and doing nothing. I mean, failing hard.
Before you see the story, Aurelien, what was the idea though in your head at this time? What were you trying to get these developers to build?
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, I wasn't happy with the existing tools. So, you have to, like when I started out, it was crazy. Like I'm not a developer. I was taking like custom-made HTML and PHP pages that were integrating with some weird French payment processor. I mean, it was horrible, right? And then you had some tools that launched, like Clickfunnels, that I tried right away when it went out. At that time, there were some things you couldn't translate. So I was like, okay, it's never going to be like a possible solution for us. I was using Lead Pages for a while, and I hated it. I thought it was a terrible product. I remember on a Sunday, I was working on a sales page, and I spent like 2 hours. And after 2 hours, I realized that with Lead Pages, I couldn't add more than like 3 or 4 bullet points to a bullet list. I was like, this is ridiculous, right? So I hated this software. And ClickFunnels was expensive, right from the start. And I was like, oh, I think that we should come up with an alternative solution, like something that's at least as good and that's more affordable.
Now I have to, because I'm like you, I've gone through these tools as well. I remember trying Lead Pages for the first time, and yes, it was very restricted and locked down, but hugely popular, especially when it first came out because it was simple. I personally was on Entreport, or I am still on Entreport, but I remember even making the choice to use that tool. I was looking at Infusionsoft, DAP, Digital Access Pass was part of that look. There was Optimized Press.
I used it too.
Right. So all these tools, and let's be fair, they don't all duplicate the same functions. They kind of overlap in different ways. Like I use Entreport. It's great for email. It's great for campaigns. So funnels, I guess, but you really, it's not the best landing page builder. And I think Infusionsoft, you might say the same thing. And then you go to ClickFunnels. Everyone, I think, liked that because it had a simple landing page building tool with a lot of power behind it. But it wasn't the best for email marketing. And then some people were like, well, I'm on ConvertKit or Aweber or Drip or whatever for email marketing. Long story short, it's a hugely crowded space. It's very technical. I look at Systemio today, and maybe this wasn't your goal with the first version, but you decided to build everything in some ways. And I know how hard software is. So I can only imagine getting all those things to work, especially with the first version. So, as you're telling the story of solving the development problem, were you asking these developers to just build you a landing page creation tool, or what were you trying to build first?
It's a great question, Yaro, and what I discovered, it's really amazing because at the beginning, I didn't know exactly. So I was like, okay, so as a web entrepreneur, I need a landing page builder But then obviously, I need an autoresponder. And of course, I need to sell my online courses. So I need like a membership site. And, I was like, oh, but there is no way we can build all these features. And, the funny thing is that because at the beginning, when you said, oh, System.io does so many things, I know that many people, most of the people, they think, oh, so it's not good, if they have so many features. And it's normal, I understand. But it's crazy. But I don't know, it's great. Like people tell us all the time, it's great. It's so easy to use. We have so many testimonials you cannot imagine, because the theory says, okay, you should get the best landing page builder. I don't know, maybe Clickfunnels, whatever. The best autoresponder might be ConvertKit, might be ActiveCampaign. The best. And but
then
when
you've
you're
got
starting out,
Thinkific, and you've got membership site builders.
Yeah,
And then there's Kajabi and all these other tools.
Exactly, Teachable. But what I mean, because I've been working with small entrepreneurs, like solopreneurs for 10 years. And I know that these people, they have very limited resources at hand. They have little money, they have little time. I mean, many of our customers are individuals who want to launch their online business. Okay, so they don't have a team. They might have a full-time job. They're doing it, on their spare time. So it is so much easier and cheaper to have just one tool that does everything. And then it's a challenge to have a tool that's good and that does everything. But I mean, we use it ourselves. Our entire business relies on System.io. And today we do about $300,000 in revenue per month. And it's a very powerful tool and people love it. I mean, you have the theory, but being an entrepreneur, it's being pragmatic. And how were we able to achieve this?
Yeah, take me back to the first version. I want to hear this story, because I mean, it's nice for you to say that 300,000 a month now, amazing. You've obviously hit a group that really values what you're doing. And I think as I'm listening to you describe it, I think you've really hit the nail on the head of the idea of low cost, doing everything I needed to do, not necessarily the best option. Like, I could buy 10 other tools and try and make them work together and I'd have the best in each one, but I don't need that. I just need a solution to running my online business at a low cost that can do everything in one. And obviously you're getting better over time too. But that's today. If we go back to version 1, you would not have had that. So how did you launch this business? And tell me the technical solution too, because it sounds like you went through 2 technical teams before you found something that worked.
Yeah, but just let me finish, because it's very important, because how we were able to make a product that's really good and yet that does so many things, it's because of the 20-80 rule. So we have, for each main feature, landing page builder, autoresponder, membership site, we did 20% of the work and we got 80% of the features. And yes, we didn't do the 20% left that would have required 80% of the work. So, but at the same time, you have a tool that's more simple, and because I've been doing this for 10 years, I mean, I'm the product guy. I'm the one saying we should do it like this or like that. And I have a very strong opinion about how the product should be. And because I know like how to work, I know the business side, like I don't take like any feature request for granted, Some users, because, the beginners, they're like, oh, if I have like a blue button there, I could add an extra 2%. And I tell them, look, it could be, but if you're not making $1,000 or $2,000 a month, right now your goal shouldn't be to add an extra 2%. Your goal should be to double your business, So you have other priorities. So work on your offers, work on your marketing, work on getting more leads in your system. You would get so much more results. So
good point.
It's all these things. And it's crazy because at the beginning, like nobody believed in that, Everyone was like, oh no, you need to have the best tool for this, the best tool for that. But can you imagine how much easier it is? You connect to one software and, in the menu, you can go from funnel builders to autoresponder. It's so much easier. And you know what? It allows you to do things that you cannot do by integrating different tools, because we have an affiliate program that's very powerful. And we have a very strong affiliate tracking because we have the pages and the autoresponder together. So when we send an email automatically to a lead, automatically we will add the ID of the affiliate who referred this lead to each link. So we have a very strong affiliate tracking. Like if you refer someone to us as an affiliate and this person 6 months from now, so this person opt-ins to our list and 6 months from now, she's on a different device. She gets an email from us. She clicks on the link, use a different email address to purchase. You will get credited for the sale because when we send the email, we added your affiliate ID. So when this person clicks, she got a cookie on her brother. And even though she might have used a different email address, you will still get credited for the sale. If you use a landing page builder and an autoresponder that are two different software, there is no way you can do this.
You're actually describing the reason why long before your platform even existed, I was looking for an all-in-one system around 2011. And that's why I pretty much focused on Infusionsoft versus Ontraport at the time. Obviously, back then, so many of the tools didn't exist yet, including yours. So that was my decision to make. And like you're describing, I wanted something where the affiliate system was connected to the email marketing system, which was connected to the landing page builder and the checkout system, because I wanted to do upsells. And even though you might get better options individually, like I wasn't sure about the landing page builder, for example, but it's nice to know you only log into one control panel and you can build what you need there. Sounds like you've really tapped into that idea. But yeah, let's go back. Like, what did you build first?
Yeah, so at the beginning we had pretty much all the features, all the main features. So I found the right team. That was in January of 2017. So I was on Upwork. I found that guy.
Oh, okay. So Upwork. Wow. Was it luck, or did you know? How did you? Because this is obviously an important part. A good engineer, right?
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, it's a break or make thing. If you don't have the right developers, you're gonna go nowhere. Like I know, because the idea I had wasn't like revolutionary. Like I know maybe 4 people in the French market who tried to do the same, invested between 100 and I'd say 300 or 400,000 euros and didn't get anything. And now there is another guy trying it. So it is very difficult, and you should expect to fail at least once. So no, what happened is that I was so desperate after the other developer had taken over the project and failed miserably. So I was desperate trying to find some developers on Upwork. And yeah, I found this guy, and right from day one, I could see that this guy was reliable because all the other guys were coming up with problems, And this guy, he was like, this 2 hours, 2 hours later, it was done. I was like, oh, I can, this guy is reliable. And when I know you know that for sure because you've been in business for over 10 years. But I always say that in life, you have two kinds of people who come up with problems and people who come up with solutions. And you want to work with the second kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this guy on board and I was like, hey, do you know someone that's like you? And I was like, yeah, I work with this guy, this developer. I know he's good. So I was like, okay, let's get him on board. And then we got a third guy that we needed because we wanted to develop the editor from scratch. And so that was a different technology. So we got this guy on board and we started building the product in 2017, and I started migrating my own business on it. So at first it was only the autoresponder. So we were using SendGrid to send emails. Okay, we didn't develop an infrastructure to send emails. We are doing it right now. We're going to leave SendGrid very soon. So we had the autoresponder. So I canceled my Aweber account, migrated my business. And then we did the payment pages, the landing pages, and then the membership site. And by the end,
you're a beta test client for your own product.
Oh yeah, totally. No, I wanted this product for my own business. Definitely.
Do you mind if I ask though? Because it sounds like you started with a team of 3 almost from day one. That's not going to be cheap. Do you have a budget in mind for how much to invest in this?
Yeah. So the 3 developers were costing me $10,000 per month.
It's a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it's cheap for developers, but it's a lot of money still.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. You summed it up pretty well. So, I mean, I was like, okay, but if you get cheap developers and it's cheaper, but you don't get anything at the end, it's not worth it. So because I felt so much, I was like, okay, these guys, like you said, and that's exactly what it is. It's for developers, it's not expensive, but it's not cheap. I was like, okay, maybe that might be the right combination. So it was an investment. I think that...
Were they overseas? I assume they're not Americans at that price point.
Yeah, so we don't have any American person on the team. I have almost 30 people on the team today in many different countries, but none of them are in the US. We had a guy in Canada, so they are from Russia.
Okay, so you found Russians on Upwork as your starting point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I found all kind of developers, and
Okay.
work with these guys, and we started building the product, and it's hard to explain, but right from the beginning, I felt that there was like some magic in this team because we. No, I know it sounds, like...
Sounds wonderful
funny.
is what it is, because I've had the opposite, feeling that frustration of, not finding the right person. And again and again and again. So.
But it is so important. Like when people respect each other, they trust each other, it's crazy. Like everyone can be in his genius zone and they love working with me. I love working with them. And we've been, working as a great team for over 3 years now.
Take us forward then, because I was loving the story where you're building the tool and then migrating your own teaching, coaching business over. I'm assuming that was a great way to find errors and essentially see, does this work? Take us forward. At some point, you must have got your first non-you customer, an external customer, right?
Yeah, definitely. So what happened is that I started, because I'm a marketer, I can help it. Like I believe in selling before actually doing it. I had been selling subscriptions to System.io for years as upsells to my courses, even though the product wasn't like really finished or viable or whatever.
Did they have access to it, or was it coming soon?
Yeah. No, but I mean, it was not. No, they had access to it, but they were not really using it. I mean, it didn't count. Basically, it wasn't many people. Anyway. So I mean, I wasn't afraid of selling it, but I did a launch on my email list. I was February or March of 2018. So I had a list of about, I don't remember, but I guess it was like around 25,000 people on my list. I launched. So I made a special offer where they would get a bonus if they subscribed. And after the launch that lasted for 2 weeks, I had my first 400 paying customers.
How much were they paying?
So the first plan starts at 27. I think that, they were all at 27, I think. So it was 27 times 400. That's like, close to 10,000 in revenue.
Which is covering your development costs. So you can keep going.
Well, it's better than zero, but no, it wasn't covering because actually, so I launched my own affiliate program using our own platform 1 year earlier, as soon as we had the autoresponder and the pages. So that was around June of 2017. So I had to pay affiliates because we pay 40% lifetime commissions.
Okay.
So I had affiliates. Then you have VAT, it's 20%. In Europe, in France, it's 20%. So it wasn't covering the cost, but it was great.
It was a solid start, yeah. And so you spent a year using the tool yourself before you promoted it, like with the launch to your own audience.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, close to it. Not entirely. Like we moved the list. That was maybe like April of 2017. Then the pages. It was progressive, and
it must have been an exciting experience, but also
pretty much it.
In some ways, I can imagine doing this myself. You're like, oh, I've got to get this out the door because it's costing me more each month to develop it. And I don't even know if anyone besides me is going to want to use this, right? So there's always that question in your head.
No, because I launched several businesses in my life and I never invented like nothing revolutionary. I always tell people, if you want to launch a restaurant, you're not going to come up with a new cuisine, right? You're going to look at what people like in your city. Like maybe you see that they like hamburgers or pizza, and then you're going to launch your own restaurant, but then it's going to be, your location. You're going to choose the name, the design, the chef, the menu. So like, you'd better not try to come up with a revolutionary idea, but then in so many ways you can add your own touch and add your own value. Mm-hmm. So I knew that people were spending money for autoresponders, funnel builders. So, I knew that some people could buy it. And what happened is that in the market we had Clickfunnels that cost $97 a month. And then there was like a French copycat of Clickfunnels that had launched in 2015 that was quite successful, very well established in the market, that was the same price. And it was a decent product, not great at all, but decent. It was doing the job. Bad UI, but let's say it was doing the job, and it was in French. So people were choosing it over Clickfunnels, their customers, because it was in French mostly, but it was 97. Mm-hmm. And I decided to launch our product with a very aggressive price of $27 per month. And we got like good feedback,
Right.
And then
did they break it with 400 customers? Did they break it, or was it pretty smooth sailing?
No, they didn't break it. No,
okay,
at all. It was totally fine. Like, honestly, because we have really good developers. We've had some technical issues, but overall it's been very, very little.
Okay. Take us forward. So how do you go from 400 to, I know you've got more than 5,000 paying customers at the moment, right? Probably maybe even double that, I'm thinking at the moment.
No, yeah. Double that. No, not yet. Maybe in a couple of years. No, today we are at 5,300 customers. So we have like 4,900 customers in the French market, 300 customers in the English market. And then we also have like an Italian version, a Spanish version. So how did we grow? That's a great question. The funny thing is that, so at the beginning I tried to, because in my mind, it's so funny, Yaro, because I was so naive. I was like, okay, let's build the best possible tool in the world. Let's make it super affordable. And then let's go see the affiliates and tell them, hey, this is great. You can get 40% lifetime commissions. Now, spread the word.
Because you were used to doing that too. You were a JV man from the beginning.
Well, not anymore,
Not anymore, but you knew how it worked.
Yeah, but it didn't work this way. Like marketers didn't care. People were like, "Oh, why do we need another
one
tool?"
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so it didn't work. So what happened is that we started getting like good feedback about the product, like all the time, like people saying, "Oh, it's better than X or Y. It's easier to use. It's great. It does so many things." Like we were getting testimonials, and I still do it to this day. I was keeping them in a note in Evernote, and I had so many, and it was cool. And I had the Facebook group that I was trying to grow. So this is where I was announcing the new features, and I was like interacting with the users about the features and stuff. And I'm very passionate about it. And yeah, it wasn't instant, but if you look at the month, so, if you look at a big company, they're going to grow by what? Like 3% year over year, 4%, 5%. You agree?
Right. And I know startups are, if you're looking for venture capital, which I don't think you ever were, but they're hoping for 20% per month growth. That's what a venture capitalist is likes to see, which is a big difference.
But honestly, I don't think that 20% month-over-month growth is really sustainable for a long time.
No, but that's what they want at the start, I guess.
At the start, yeah, exactly.
Totally, yeah.
So what happened is that if you grow by 6% month-over-month, you're going to double in a year. Mm-hmm. Okay? And yeah, I was growing by, between 5 and 12% month-over-month. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, it's not bad,
Solid, And
it
was you doing anything? Like there's no paid ads, there's no big launches, it's just word of mouth referrals?
It's definitely our affiliate program. So because in my mind, I was like, okay, we got a great product, we got a great offer, but what people don't understand is that we have a great affiliate program.
Okay. I thought you said the affiliate program didn't really work. But what you're saying is it's been working, but it's been more of a nice consistent run rather than an explosion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's definitely today, like maybe 70% of our sales come from our affiliates. So yeah, we did it's funny when I see people, so many people want to launch an affiliate program and they all make the same mistake. So they think that because they launch their affiliate program, affiliates are going to start promoting them like magic, and a flow of customers is going to happen. And I'm sure you know the answer. What happens when you launch your affiliate program is nothing.
Not much.
Right?
Depends what you're selling,
nothing.
But not much.
Exactly. So nothing happens. So just like any other marketing channel, you need to commit to it for at least 6 months, a year, 2 years to get some results. And the other mistake I see is that people, they have an affiliate program, but it's like they want to cheat on their affiliates. They're like, oh, but they're going to make more money and stuff. I'm like, dude, like if they make more money, that means that you make more money, right? So don't try to trick them. That's very short term. No, we work hard. We want our affiliates to make good money. And the truth is, like our affiliates, like I see some people that have tried to build an online business for years and they couldn't, because it's tough and not everyone has the skills and stuff. And they started promoting our affiliate program and they started making money, maybe not much. But yeah, I mean, I know a guy, I don't want to be rude or whatever, but I think that this guy he doesn't have a full mental capacity. And he made, I'm serious. Like you look at the video of the guy and you're like, yeah, this guy, he's got a problem, like he's not, I don't know if he's considered legally whatever, but yeah. And he made €1,000 with our affiliate programs, it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, that's what worked for us. And then there was the pandemic that absolutely skyrocketed our business. I mean, we were doing great, I reached €100,000 per month in revenue from the software subscriptions right before the pandemic. And for me, it was huge. And our entire business grew by over 50% in 3 months.
Wow.
So yeah, 50%. Yeah, exactly. Because so that was 100,000 from this, plus the online courses, plus the coaching programs. So I think we were doing like in March, like maybe, I don't know, 170. And today we do €260,000. So that's $300,000 in total. Yeah, per month.
Oh, amazing. Congratulations. That's
Thank
huge.
You.
How do you look at the future then for this? Because I don't know if I was to talk to you, say, back in 2017, you were sure where this was going. I'm like you actually said during the interview, you said there were other people in France who attempted to start this kind of service and they spent 100,000, 150,000 and they didn't go anywhere. So there's always the doubt in your mind, but now you've got, I'd say it's safe to say you've got product market fit and it's people are getting benefit, huge list of testimonials. Where do you want to take it? Like how, because it's a different mindset with SaaS. And I know you've turned away venture capital, like people have asked, can I invest in your company? And you said no, which is fair because you're obviously growing well without the need for investors.
Yeah, totally.
So what do you want to do with it? Is there an end game here or are you just enjoying the journey?
No, I'm really enjoying the journey. This is the most exciting thing that I've done in my life. And I've done a few things. I mean, it's crazy. It's so exciting because I feel that we're doing something really unique, So our company is 100% remote. So I have almost 30 people on the team in 6 or 7 different countries. So we use Slack, obviously, to communicate. And yeah, it works great. And it's the customers are happy. The people on my team are happy. I tell people I want you to be happy. Like I'm not going to be, and I'm not like Mickey Mouse, right? When things are not good, I would tell you. But I really want people on my team to be happy, and I think it's the case. There is a great atmosphere. Intellectually, it's the most challenging thing I will ever do, I think, because it's crazy, like managing so many people and the technical part, the affiliates, the
customers. Tell me about that. I haven't really asked you about this team you've built. Big difference between being an information marketer, probably with a small team of contractors, to a SaaS company. How have you found being the CEO and hiring and training and onboarding and building a structure and all that?
Yeah, it's a ton of work. So But once you have the right people, it makes your life so much easier. So, for example, I mean, there are so many things to do. I think that's one strength in our company. It's our ability to hire like good people, like skilled people, and like help them grow.
Do you mind if I ask how you found all these workers besides Upwork?
Yeah, so a great way to find people, usually I start from my email list, and then we can use recommendations. So like referrals, like we will ask people, hey, do you know someone that, could be a good fit? So for example, today we have around 10 people on the customer support team, and we work 7 days a week. We answer in about 1 hour on average, which is really good. Like a year ago, we were really struggling. We had made a couple of bad hires and it was painful. But today we have a great team. People are so happy by the support. We get messages on the Facebook group like, hey, I asked a question. I got an answer 9 minutes later. That's insane. So it's great. Today, I'm working to grow in the English market because that's obviously the biggest market in the world. So I hired 2 people I work closely with, and each one of them has hired one has hired like 4 people and is managing them. So that's to do the outreach, to reach out to influencers and, users of other tools. And the other person is managing the content team. So like, for example, this week she hired 7 content writers, and it seems that we are going to keep just 1. So we're going to get some new, candidates to build the team. But yeah, I want to grow System.io because I think it's great. I want people to have the choice, like if you don't like it or you don't think it's a good fit or you prefer X or Y, no worries. But I would like you at least to know that it exists because I think that it's a great solution. And to this day, we have many testimonials in English because we've been, having more and more customers in the English market. So yeah, I definitely want to grow our customer base in the English market.
Tell me, if we were to go, like, imagine you're coaching and teaching now in the SaaS space, and there's people who are thinking, and I suspect they are thinking this now, having listened to this podcast, they're like, I actually never thought that I could potentially start a SaaS on something that is already serviced. There's other companies already providing SaaS. Like, okay, you did that in this sort of funnel building space, and maybe someone's thinking, I want to do a SaaS in, the buying and selling stocks online or something like that, and doing it differently, and or whatever. It could be anything, health space. And they're thinking, okay, I'm going to follow in your footsteps. Aurelien said, I'm going to go to Upwork. I'm going to hopefully find some good Russians, and I'm going to build a version of my tool and use it myself, and then try and find my first few customers. Obviously, you had a little bit of an advantage with your existing database and your coaching business. But how would you advise these kind of people like to do this? Is it different than how you did it, or would you say the same?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. My issue now is that our tool is used mostly by infopreneurs, but not only. We have like people selling services. Actually, we do have a few people selling it, using it to sell SaaS apps, which is great. I always thought that it should be the case, but it's very, very few people doing it. People doing e-commerce, like drop shipping, like selling with sales funnels. But the thing that's killing me is that I think I have so much to share about building a SaaS, and it doesn't help me if I share about it.
Right.
I
understand.
So it's really, I'm like, this is because I know that
just want to clarify, you're saying that not because you're trying to hold back, you're just saying that because it's not going to help grow your current business.
Because the people building SaaS, they're not going to be customers of System.io. Maybe in the future when people realize that actually, you could,
well, now's your chance. Give us some advice as a SaaS founder. What would you advise?
So there are a few things that I think are really powerful. I cannot say everything because that's my secret sauce. I'm really sorry because I've always been like super open and I want to share and I want to to provide value as much as I can. But I think that I have a few tricks. But yeah, I'm happy to share some advice. Because, for example, what you could do is, because some people tell me, hey, are you gonna, like, we have Clickfunnels, right? That's one of our competitors, and people are like, do you think you're gonna beat them, or do you want to beat them? And I'm like, hey, our plan is to lose against Clickfunnels, right? They're gonna do 160 millions in revenue this year. Maybe in 3 years or 5 years, they will be at 200, 250, and that's great. We will do 3 million in revenue this year, and my plan would be in 2 or 3 years to get to 5 to 10 millions, and then get to 20, 30 millions. So we will never beat Clickfunnels, but it's fine because I'm very happy with the outcome. Like, I will get so much richer than I need. I will have a lot of fun. So maybe some advice is to take a company that's growing fast and, try to get a piece of the cake. I mean, you have the Inc. 5000 list, and you can have a look and see what companies are growing fast. And that's what I told you before. Like, you don't need to come up with a revolutionary idea. Just look what works. Like, for example, if you want to open a restaurant, you're not going to invent a new cuisine. I remember once in Colombia, I saw a pizza place with like a pizza, like a cone, like an ice cream. And I was like, oh, what a terrible idea. And guess what? I don't think it worked great. So, just find something that works and try to do it like with your own twist.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do it so much better. Like, I don't know if you know, like Dane Maxwell from the foundation.
Yes. We've had Dane on this show.
Yeah, I think that Dane is freaking brilliant, and he didn't come up with all this by himself. Okay, he got some inspiration from Eric Ries of the Lean Startups, that got his stuff from, I think it's Steve Blank, the 4 steps of Epiphany. So nobody invented everything, but you have some people taking some content and adding some ideas and value. And I think that Dan is absolutely brilliant in what he does. And I think that if people want to launch a SaaS, because that's really his specialty, they should go and listen to his show. And I think that he's so clever, and it's great. He's great at what he does.
Yeah, I do remember I had Dane on the podcast a long time ago, and I do remember he describes what you're saying, basically fine. And even on a smaller scale, really, he was saying like, you go to your local real estate agent, find the owner and ask, is there a problem right now that's not being serviced very well? And see if you can find a potential SaaS you can build for them and use them as the first client so they pay for development as well. It was very clever, and it was very problem focused, which I thought was always brilliant. You're sort of saying that, but even a bigger picture, you're sort of saying, okay, let's just take a company like, I know one I'm thinking of right now in my head is Loom. It's a video recording tool that's growing like crazy. And you could say, well, let's do the Loom for a certain space or a certain type of video or something like that, your own spin on it. And sure, you're not going to necessarily be the billion-dollar company that Loom is probably going to become, but you can happily make 10 million, whatever, like a solid 7-figure business servicing a sub-segment of that need with a similar type of tool, which I guess you could say is like similar to what you're doing. You started out in a niche with maybe more the French market, and also your different strategy with pricing and so on. So that's great. Aurelien, let's wrap this up. We've been here for basically an hour, so I really appreciate you sharing so much time and sharing your story. It's been great to hear about your transition from information marketer to SaaS, which I think is possibly the most exciting thing for a lot of people listening to this, because obviously my audience is full of a lot of people who are currently or working towards selling information. And it's not unusual to then at some point go, you know what, I do want to get into software, or I do want to get into a physical product or something a little different. So you're a great example of that. One last question though, I'm curious, what's a day in the life for you right now? Like you've got a team doing a lot of the work, but what do you personally do each day?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's weird because I feel that I'm mostly productive in the morning. So I wake up like late, like 8:30. I will go to my office space. That's like 10 minutes walk from my home, and I will work continuously till the early afternoon, and then I will go to the gym where usually I listen to podcasts, stuff like that. And then I get back home, get a shower, work a little bit from home, and then spend, time with my wife and our daughter. And it's pretty much it. It's very simple, but it's crazy. Like, sorry?
What's the work part of that? What are you personally doing? Because you're not like, are you writing articles? I know you're showing up on podcasts. You're here talking to me, but what else are you doing?
No, yeah. So it's basically, I'm doing all the marketing. I'd say I'm, kind of the chief marketing officer because I'm the one. So I'm the super manager. I'm managing the managers and sometimes the workers when I have to. I'm the product guy. So I'm working with the developers about the product, the features and everything. It doesn't take a lot of time, but, I have to be there when they need me. And it's mostly, managing people and trying to grow. So, like last week, I was in south of France. We rented a house with my family. And, it's funny because they were like, they say, you're always on holiday. I was like, kind of, because I'm always working at the same time, I just take my laptop. Like the week before with my wife, we went to Switzerland. We rented a car and we drove for like 5 days. So it's great. It's like the dream, but I'm very obsessed with my business. I'm so passionate. Like when I fall asleep, I will think about my business. When I sleep, sometimes I will think about my business. When I wake up, the first thing I think about is my business. I'm so passionate about. It's the most amazing thing I've ever done. I will ever do, certainly. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but you have to be passionate. I think it's the best, And when I see our team and I'm like, yeah, we have some passion, it's great.
Awesome. So just for everyone, I will definitely share the link to your website in the show notes. I know it's not like, it's hard to translate what we say, System.io. So it's system with an E at the end, then .io. We'll put a link for that though. And I'll do an intro to the podcast and spell it out for people so they can check it out as you were talking. Any other websites you want to send people to, Aurelien?
No, honestly, people can go and try System.io for free. You don't need to enter your credit card because I want people to be, able to check it out for free. And people can join our Facebook group. That's where, like the community exchange. So it's pretty much it.
Where do we find the Facebook group? Is that just for people who are using System.io or?
No. Anyone can join. It's a public group because we want anyone to be able to check out, what's going on in there.
Okay.
Before joining or whatever. So you just look for System.io, system with an E, on Facebook, and you will find a group. Or when you join System.io, when you sign up for the free trial, we will send you the link. So yeah, no worries.
Mm-hmm. Okay. System.io or System.io, as I've been saying throughout this episode.
Actually, that's how people search for it on Google, like System.io. System.io, system with an E, space IO. Yeah. That's how people search for it on Google.
Interesting.
It's become like a search term on Google,
Yeah. Well, I guess that's word of mouth for you, right? So, and I'm sure they're looking for reviews and so on. But no, appreciate your time, Aurelien. Good luck. I'm sure you're going to continue this great growth curve and keep it up. It sounds like you're loving the process. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Yaro, for having me on the show. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Yaro's podcast. For more episodes, visit yaro.blog and subscribe on iTunes or Google.